Happy holidays, Juan.
Woohoo! Holiday time.
Yeah, it is a holiday time, and folks are getting together with their families, and tensions are running high.
Tensions are running high. Why?
I mean, I'm hearing reports from Thanksgiving dinners where folks are in like 2 different rooms because nobody can agree on anything these days. We live in a polarized world. But I'm here to posit that maybe, if done right, AI as a conversation topic could be your holiday saving grace.
So, Kate, you're telling me there's no escape from AI, not even at the holiday table.
No, I think it's going to come up in most families, but like what I think we can do today is kind of break out what the playbook is, how to talk about this topic, how to like pivot this topic if it starts to get in the slightest bit political, and how to use it to kind of bring the family together.
And the family together. Okay, in order to bring the family together, let me throw a couple of things that might make the conversation interesting. First of all, I'm sure AI is gonna pop up as a way to entertain the kids, maybe even if we don't know. So there's that, right? Like entertaining the kids versus safety data collection, then talking to grandma and grandpa about AI, the political aspect, which are we gonna talk about that,
No,
Kate?
this is the trick. Avoid the political aspect altogether.
I'll get back to you on that one later in the show. Let's start with the most annoying thing about the holidays, which is undoubtedly entertaining the kids. So, Kate, let's draw from your experience.
Okay, so I'm an expert in this, in entertaining my kids with AI. I promise I'm a good mom. Like, I'm not doing anything sketch. In fact, if I ever like use their image, I blur their faces because I don't want them to be used as training data for the models. You know, they're probably out there anyway because most people don't know the minute you put your child's face on Instagram, it's owned by Meta. So they're probably in that training data set anyway, but I try my best. But there's some really fun things you can do with kids that they just love. So mine are 3 and 5. One thing that we do is I turn on voice mode and I let them ask questions. So my 5-year-old will ask, why is the sky blue? What are clouds made of? What's under the ground? Things like this. And in voice mode, it gives her a really succinct, sweet answer that's sort of tailored to a 5-year-old child. She'll talk to it forever. And she really enjoys her conversations with, in our case, ChatGPT in voice mode.
Okay, is that the only thing you're doing with the kids? Anything else?
No, there's lots of fun stuff visual. So my husband, who is a visual person, he uses it to write them stories and tell, hey, Jake.
Hey, Jake.
Write stories to tell them at bedtime. I take pictures of their stuffies and then I turn them into real animals. So, for example, one of them has a rainbow unicorn, and I'll take a picture of the rainbow unicorn stuffy and then turn it into a picture of what that would look like in real life. It like boggles their minds. And then the other thing we do, which is really, really fun, if you have a printer on hand, you can make coloring book pages for them. So you can ask them, what do you want on your coloring book page? They can give you anything in the world. You can print it out for them and give them a box of crayons, and I promise you they will color that thing until because it's built for them. It's made for them, and there's nothing kids love more than attention to detail for them.
All right, so I can see that. I also like that it's an activity that while it's involving AI, kids are coloring, you know, like building the craft that will make the difference years from now. But now here's when my worry comes, which is, okay, you're doing all these images, and then one of the kids says, I want my face, or something like that, right? Like we grew up with filters, or they grew up with filters. I grew up with power blackouts. But for the, you know, the kids are like, let's play with grandpa. There's 2 funny faces, like a manga character. That could be a problem, right? I have this scenario actually even worse.
Great.
Grandpa is on Instagram, and he gets an ad preying on his fear of loneliness. Create animated stories with your grandchildren. Endless adventures. So grandpa gets really into it because it's very aspirational. So he's like, let's create adventures, kids. Now, would you let grandpa do that?
It depends on what tool they are pushing on grandpa. If it's just creating adventures with ChatGPT and talking them through with your kids.
No. I'm talking like, let's create adventures with your face, my face, grandpa's.
Oh, with endless your face.
Endless adventures for the kids.
I would say that this is your opportunity as the most educated person about AI around that family dinner table to talk about risks and maybe talk about them in a non-frightening, non-threatening, and positive way, which is how we all want to show up at our holiday tables. But, talking about the risks of putting your image or your likeness into LLMs because that can be used as training data, just talking a little bit about maybe how ChatGPT can prey on people's loneliness. You could create characters that then might drive you further down a path of loneliness as opposed to helping to ameliorate the problem.
Okay, so we got two things that I want to discuss.
Yeah.
Number one, because again, we say it's training on your data this, data that, but like how we can explain layman terms, what's actually what does it mean that it's using, my face, what I do to train data? Because it doesn't really mean data. Okay.
I mean, it's hard to know what will happen with that, but there's a lot of potentiality for a surveillance situation down the line. These are all topics not to bring up at dinner.
Maybe.
I don't think surveillance state is a really good way to stay out of politics.
I disagree. I think it's an excellent 1 a.m. conversation once the uncle got a little bit of liquor.
Yes, going back behind the house to share a smoke with cousin Steve. Cousin Steve, maybe that's the time to talk about surveillance state. But for adults, it's a little bit different. For kids that don't have, the ability to protect their own likeness, maybe keep them out of it as much as possible.
Exactly, right? And that's the thing, protecting the likeness. Because one of the things we know is that these apps, even if they say they don't, let's assume good intent, but maybe they might not know they're doing it. Training likeness, they need faces so they can continue evolving their models. That's why you'll see many apps being create your profile photography in a professional way or create a toy that looks like you, because basically they need data, and that's an excellent way of getting data. So obviously, I'm assuming parents do not like their children.
They don't.
Training material.
They may not be aware, so you can gently make them aware.
Exactly. There's a company that actually feels so strongly about holiday traditions that they put a list of things that you could do with AI. What's the company? Want to guess?
I think that company is Microsoft.
Woohoo! Ding, ding, ding. Wait, we haven't done this in a while. Hello, Roberto. So Microsoft actually put together a list to create new holiday traditions. So if you got a couple of minutes.
I want to hear all about this.
So this is called Create New Holiday Traditions with AI. So it talks about, first of all, creating new holiday traditions. Consider your family's preferences and values. So let's see what are the suggestions, and then we vote yay or nay. Does it work?
But I just heard all the groans, my family's values. What are they can vary widely.
You don't want to know, yeah. Some mysteries are best left unsolved. Anyway, let's go with suggestion number 1. Suggest a fun holiday activity for large families looking to create a picture-perfect moment. Yeah or nay?
I don't know.
I'd say we can probably talk about it on the table and avoid having to type.
Yes. And also, who wants to get together into a photo? That's impossible. So if that's what they're talking about, no.
There's always that kid, right? There's that used to be me. Do you have one of those?
No, it's probably me.
Well-behaved kids. So, number 2, how can I celebrate Three Kings Day with my family abroad? This is for wealthy folks that can travel abroad in January.
What?
Do you even have Three Kings Day here in the U.S.?
No, what is this?
It's January 6th. I mean, here we celebrate something else on January 6th, but it's the Three Kings that brought some gifts to Jesus, I think.
Yes. Oh, it's its own day.
Yeah, in Latino countries, they celebrate it, actually. I remember I grew up getting gifts.
But what are they suggesting that you use AI to do here?
Because they need people to use AI.
Okay, this is just a magnet marketing article. This is content marketing that they put out. They figure that people will click on this article because they're curious, and then there's nothing in there.
I disagree, Kate.
Okay.
Because Here it has more suggestions. I think you're assuming bad intent, and I'm assuming that they got in the holiday spirit. So let's see a couple more. Make crafting your new tradition. Unheard of. Thankfully, we got all this investment in AI. Provide instructions on creating a dreidel from paper or clay.
Okay, so this is maybe helpful. I think a lot of people are already doing this, which is like, I don't know how to do something. How do I do it? ChatGPT, and then it tells you. In fact, we heard a lot of stories over the Thanksgiving holiday where people were using ChatGPT to help them cook their turkey, and it came out underdone or overdone because it's not a cooking expert, actually, at the end of the day. But instructions on how to do a craft with your family, great. I love it.
All right, so she says, yes, if it keeps the kids happy and entertained, that works for me, but I saved the best one for last.
Okay, good.
This is the one that I truly feel justifies burning the Amazon and maybe, a couple other countries down. So this one says, generate a table for tracking weekly exercise and water intake.
Wow, that really gives me the holiday spirit. So that's after January, right? When you're like, oh my gosh, I ate and drank too much. I need to get back to it.
I don't think I want to get my kids, my non-existent kids, into starting to freak out about food.
Yeah.
Maybe wait until society.
Maybe that's for your, elder generations. I don't know. That doesn't give me holiday spirit vibes at all.
I think I'd rather talk about politics and weight.
Maybe. I mean, could be that they're one and the same. Yeah. All roads lead back to politics. So there's some key topics that you should probably avoid. For example, the tech oligarchs that are sucking up to Donald Trump. Maybe leave that one on the table, right? Maybe don't bring that one up.
Maybe it's for another upcoming episode. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Maybe. Another one, surveillance state. Maybe don't bring that one up. That one can trigger a lot of people. How are companies tracking our data, saving our data, knowing where we are at all times? Things like that, which are not science fiction, actually. I mean, there's companies like Palantir that wheel and deal in our data, and Meta as well, who's created a whole ad business on our data. And so these are also topics that maybe leave to the side for your holiday dinner.
I actually disagree on this one. And I'm going to... No. Hear me out, Roberto. So what I mean, the surveillance one, that's one of my 1 a.m. topics with cousin Steve. Definitely, we're talking about it. But going back, to grandpa, grandma, creating those images of adventures with the grandchildren, right? I do feel it's important to talk about data training and some best practices. And it doesn't necessarily have to go into the let's make it weird environment. And I'm thinking I don't have the answer to that one. It's like probably we want to attempt to explain me like I'm 5 kind of explanation on how that works. So are you okay with building it together right now?
Okay. Why don't you start?
Thank you, Kate. So I would say probably I'll start with don't do it. Here's why that could backfire. And maybe, the one approach that I can think right now is imagine you're in a public stage, right? And grandpa and grandma might be like, okay, but my grandchildren are the light of my eyes. I want the world to see them. I think that's a good angle to explain that some people might not have the best intentions, stranger danger. That's the best approach I can come up with.
Yeah, maybe, I like the scenario of a physical space. And maybe you can say, stop thinking about it as your own page, right? Your own newsfeed, and start thinking about it like a bus station. It's a place where anyone and everyone can and will show up. And you don't want to take your child and just drop them in the middle there for everyone to see.
For everyone to see, for platforms to learn about them, eventually, information gets cross-checked, so a profile gets built, and that's when you get into the surveillance state. So my advice there is just run. Go for the leftovers. Say, I'm going to get more turkey and walk away.
So there's one more red flag that I just want to put on the table, and it is definitely a risk of going deep into political and economic territory. So this one is the AI bubble. Are these tech companies overvalued?
Wait. Are we saying that the tech bubble is going to be controversial? I'm really interested in this one.
Well, yes, because I think it's a topic that has a lot of things like glommed onto it. Like one is the fact that are we going to have a financial bubble that bursts and we're going to go into a recession? The minute you start talking about those things, the T word starts coming up. You know what the T word is. The other thing is just sort of like the state of the work in the global economy and whether automation is going to start taking away jobs. The minute jobs come up, everyone starts talking about politics. So these are also spaces where like maybe just like if somebody brings up the bubble, you just go, I don't know. Actually, I've been reading, nobody's really sure what's happening. We can't know for sure, and just sort of like try to move away from the topic.
Leftovers. That's your Walker. Always say, let me grab some more leftovers and politely walk away. That's what I do. It works like a charm.
Is that pumpkin pie over there? Could you pass that down?
So you say we avoid the bubble. Any other topics that we should avoid at the table that are AI related?
This is a personal one for me, but work slop or just slop in general. I have kind of like a bee in my bonnet about this topic because I read so often this like highly polarized, either it's AI slop or it's content, and there's no in between. And that to me is a false narrative because there is so much cool art and expression being created with these AI tools, a lot of which I follow. And I think, it could be an opportunity to like show some cool stuff on your phone to Aunt Betty around the table or your niece or nephew who's in the arts but is afraid of AI sort of taking over their field. I'm going to read some of these artists that I love, and maybe Lola can put them up on the screen and we can show a little bit of their work.
She will.
Okay, so my favorite is Nice Aunties. Have you seen Nice Aunties?
I have no clue who they are.
All right, so we're going to show Nice Aunties. Joanne.
What's that?
These are all AI creators who are creating amazing artistic content.
For kids?
No, for the world, right? And what I love the most about these, and people like Sarah Shakil or Murad Moradov, it's almost like they're using these AI tools to create a new aesthetic or even give birth to like a new feeling that I never felt before. It is, in a sense, this emerging technology is showing us a new way to view the world. And I think that is very cool. And I think that artists who have a POV, who want to leverage AI tools to try something new or push the boundaries of what's possible, that's what creating is all about. So I'm 1,000% on board with some of these folks.
Excellent. I want to check it out. So we'll leave links on the description so you can check it out too. And I'm going to add my own suggestion. There's this subreddit that I'm going to be adding on the description, which is the best of Facebook Slop.
Oh, I love that.
You will love it, but definitely you do not want to share it with kids or anyone. Truly, this is something for you to watch on your own because it'll both give you hope about something, maybe, the internet collapsing, but it definitely gives you feelings. So I would encourage you all, December 25, I cannot think of a better plan. All right, so we cover fun things to do. We cover red flags, things to avoid. We cover some cool things to watch that might or might not be slop. Kate, what else can we do?
I mean, I think this is it. This is the plan. This is the playbook. Follow along. Focus on the positive. Focus on being that gentle expert around the table who's giving useful information to people. Steer clear of red flag territory, economy, politics, surveillance state, well, unless you're Juan's cousin Steve, and try to be a positive voice at the table for the future and keep all of those political conversations at bay.
Damn, that's a lot of instructions, but I do agree. Follow Kate's example, but also for all the parents, that are watching the show, it's a great time to hit the comments and let us know what are you doing to keep the kids entertained using AI. Share your best practices, or share if you think that's a terrible idea. We want to hear it too, but definitely we want to hear from you. And remember, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, rating the show is super, super helpful for more people to discover it. And if you're in YouTube, give it a like, subscribe. You know the drill. This has been all. Merry whatever you celebrate. We're done?
We're done.
Let's do it.
Happy holidays, y'all.